What's up, everybody? It's your girl Nita, your favorite diva, and I am back. And we're going to be doing something a little different today. We're going to be listening to some clips of the Naia Jaxn. She comes to us through the YouTuber, social media personality, Jaxn. I know you guys have probably already heard about the scandals. They have been in the news cycle for at least the entire pandemic. And yeah, so she gets online on the Dear Wifey podcast. Shout out to them. I'll put the links in the description below so you can check out the whole interview, which is a little over 3 hours long. It's broken up into two different parts. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to give you a T warning. I don't want to say it too early because I don't want them to flag the video. So anyway, it's a T warning and we're going to be talking about some things. So listen to the intro and I'll be right back. My man, my man, my man. My husband, my husband, my husband. Ladies, you just want bragging rights, right? Because y'all know the marriages be trash. Y'all be pretty much the breadwinners. Y'all doing all the housework. And you paying half the bills. Come on. Let's be real. And in this video, Naia actually reveals that she was a married single mother. She reveals that she was submissive, like what they say they want. That's what the manosphere say they want, a submissive woman. She was doing all of the things. She was a doormat. She was a masochist. I'm definitely, let's go ahead and break down the definition to masochist. Let's go ahead and get into it. Because what she was doing, we're going to say that she was doing these things and she was acting in a masochistic way. So let's read the definition. The first definition is a person who derives sexual gratification from being subjected to physical pain and humiliation. The second one, and most importantly for me, is a person who takes pleasure in pain and suffering. And that is exactly what I'm going to let you listen to in some of these clips of what she was saying as we journey through this relationship with her and Derek Jaxn.
Right? And so I had all that on there. And he's like, "What, did you model?" And I was like, I used to do some modeling. And he's like, can you tutor me? I was like, yeah.
So you weren't just a quiet girl, you was a smart girl too?
Yes, quiet and smart, right? And I had these crazy braids in my hair that were not upkept. I had pimples all over my face. So it's like one of those classic movies where it's like that, the ugly duckling, smart girl in the corner, and then all of a sudden, look at this face, right? And so it was like one of those classic fairy tale kind of stories in that regard. But he asked me to tutor him. We met up in the library, and I'm so awkward. He's like, I'm sitting on the opposite end of the table, and I'm just like this.
Way across.
Yeah, way across, and I'm just like, okay, are you ready? And he's like, why are you so like stiff? Like, why are you sitting that far? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, okay, oh, it is okay to like be a little bit closer.
Had you not been in a relationship before then?
I had had a high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
And but it was I went to all white high school.
Okay.
So okay, let's put this in some context. I went to all white high school pretty much. There were some black people there, of course, but it was different than going to all black college. So
oh yeah, the culture shock.
Culture shock, right? And so
you said, where all this swag coming from?
Right. I don't even know what this means. Like, I don't know what that is. It's different in a more diverse or lack of diverse school. And so it was an adjustment all around. And so I had to get used to that because he introduced me to a whole new world of black culture. I got my black stripe going to Tuskegee and being in this relationship. So
and so how did it transition from you being his tutor to him tutoring you in some things?
That is good. That's good. I got school, okay, for years. No, after the tutoring, we were having conversations nearly daily. Like the first 3 days, it felt like I know him for my whole life.
Yeah.
And literally, we were on the phone, sleeping on the phone, like those first 3 days, having all kinds of conversations. And it was like, oh my gosh, I've known you all my life. This is a fairy tale. I love you. Like, when are we getting married and having kids? Like, it was all
Were you
of
thinking
that.
this or were you saying this?
All of it.
Y'all were talking about marriage and stuff?
Not necessarily marriage, but it was definitely like, I
That's
like
crazy.
you. Like, I've known you my whole life. Like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
Like, where have you been?
Yeah.
This is right here in this
19 years
moment.
old.
Yes.
Have you been all my life?
Exactly.
All the 19 years of my existence?
Exactly. All 19 years of my life. I miss you. I love you. This is what, and so it was great. It's pure ecstasy. And so from there, we spent pretty much every day together. And about 1 month after just meeting, he asked me to be his girlfriend on Valentine's Day. So that was like our unofficial anniversary for years. He had this big old heart, and he had his shirt off, and he was like, "Will you be my girlfriend?"
He had his shirt off?
Yes, he was fine too. I was like, "Yes, Dania, look at you." Everybody thought you were a nerd, but here you go.
That's what I'm saying. What were people thinking? Here you were, this quiet little nerdy girl that you said that had pimples all over your face, but then you get
Doesn't match.
you get the sexy. What, did he play football?
He
or
did
anything?
play football.
So you got the sexy jock. What was
Fire.
that about?
Fire. Like, for me, that's what I was thinking. Like, listen, Danae, you have upgraded. You are coming into it, right? And so, I think there's a lot of hatred overall.
Yeah.
Most people didn't say a whole lot, but I think there's a lot of hatred about it. And then it's like, it doesn't match because he is more outgoing and personable. And I'm just like, the literally awkward black girl that went to an all-white high school. So there's a balance.
Okay, y'all. All right, here's my commentary. Okay, I noticed in this whole thing when she was describing this whirlwind, this fairy tale, what I tell you, ladies, it's the fairy tale of it all. Please deprogram your mind about these fairy tales. Please. Please and thank you. Okay, so, I noticed one, her self-esteem was in the trash. Her self-worth, her self-value. Every time she described herself, she put him above her. She put herself down and put him up. So that's another thing. So she came in this thing in an imbalance, in a power. She put herself in a power dynamic where she didn't feel good enough for him. So I thought that was very, very telling. Very telling. So, yeah. And of course, the love bombing in the beginning. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you. After 3 days, y'all falling asleep on the phone. Everything is so easy. I feel like I knew you all my life. All of the things that you get in the beginning, which gets you into a bait and switch dynamic. What they do is get you emotionally attached, and then they flip the script, and then that's when they start treating you any kind of way, when they know they got you. So you always have to know your worth. You always have to know your value, and always be willing and able to pick up and leave that relationship at any given time. You have to be able to do that, or you will be suffering the same abuse that she's going to be detailing in this scenario.
And yes, there was commitment at times.
At times.
At times, but there was a lot of on and off again. Okay, and through college and even after college, lots of on and off again. And so, leading up to our marriage, we were actually off. Right, we were actually off. We were living in North Carolina at the time. 2015, going into 2016, late 2016, we went our separate ways because there was other people involved, and there had already been other people involved even in college, right? And so
Be specific. Other people. What do you mean?
Other women. There was.
Did you ever have other guys that you were dating?
In college there was a guy, Fabian, who I was
Say
talking
the man name. Say the man name. Fabian, mind his own business. Watch the different white podcast.
He's not. He's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Okay. God rest his soul.
Yes, and so in college there was that, but it wasn't necessarily a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I actually had used him to I did. I used him to set Derek up because I was tired of him being with all these girls and catching him and going through his phone and watching him do all of his stuff with these girls. And I was working with this guy, and I was like, listen, I need you to help me to get him back. And I want to set this up, and we're going to make it look like we're, this great couple. Like, I'm cheating over here and all this. So he helped me. He was, he did. And
that's why I titled the thumbnail Toxicity, because all the while Naia was a willing participant in these games that he was playing, all the things that they were doing. They were doing this together, playing games, doing the young and dumb stuff. Child, all the women, and she looking at his phone, looking through his phone, trying to find something. Child, it's a hard no for me.
So what you do? So how'd y'all set it up?
So
What y'all
we had
do?
the same car. We had the same type of car, which was a Subaru, one of those like Fast and Furious type of cars.
How you get one of those? You had some little money growing up.
Listen, my uncle is a car guy.
Okay.
And so he gave me a car because I was a straight A student, clearly, with my pimples and my straight A's, right? And so he gave
Had a
me a
little
car.
Subaru. She was fly on campus.
I had a 2000 Subaru Impreza, and
Yeah.
it was blue, and we had the same car. His was just like 2 years.
You said you and Fabian.
Yeah, we had the same car. So I would set up times for us to go race, and we worked together. So clearly, I was at work when I wasn't in class. So there's that. And then I would set up times where like I would be like let's meet up at this place, and I knew Derek would find out about it, and I wanted him to because I wanted him to pay.
You want them to be jealous?
I wanted him to. Like, I've sat there and watched, literally looked through his phone and watched him have sex with other girls.
On the phone?
On the phone. Like, I literally watched it. And so that was soul crushing. At that time, this is well before we're married, but I've seen it multiple times, multiple girls, several. This is just in college. We're not talking even about marriage.
After that, yeah, we're going to get there in a little bit. We're going to talk about straight college. How did we get here?
So there was a lot of anger and bitterness, and I never once really confronted him about it. I always kind of like sat on it and just buried it. Mostly, I feel like now I'm looking back on it, it was a fear of rejection and abandonment.
You feel like you spoke up, he's going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I don't want him to leave me. Like, so I have to just take this. But then at the same time, it was creating this deep-seated hatred and resentment and spitefulness. And so here I go, setting him up. And it worked.
Fabian. So how'd y'all set it up?
So
I don't care how they set it up. He didn't care about her. He didn't care. She loved him. He didn't love her. He didn't care. And even, I'm not going to find the clip, but the interviewer asked her, what did he do? Did he ever confront you about it? She was like, no. So you basically making a fool out of yourself for nothing. Girl, he did not care about you at all.
Emotional affair with Fabian? Did you like him?
No, I did not. I was dealing with some severe heartbreak. Like the things that I seen Derek doing with other women at the time, and I was really attached to him. And then you have to think I was coming off of that rape trauma, and so I never dealt with, that I never talked to anybody about, and so there was a lot of turmoil that I was having. I wasn't thinking about, oh, Fabian is this guy that I'm trying to be with. I'm thinking, how am I going to get this guy back? But then at the same time, I don't want him to
lose him. Yep.
But
you want to feel the pain, but don't lose him.
Right. And it's like, what?
But then you're not even speaking up about what you saw.
Exactly. Right. So these are all the issues that I brought into the relationship. Lack of
and the fact
communication.
of not speaking up was the same thing that you practiced when you were sexually assaulted.
Exactly. So it just carried over, and I didn't realize the power of not speaking about the rape trauma until well after the fact. And I'm like, wow, what did I get myself into? Right? And now I'm practicing toxicity, right? I'm practicing toxic behavior and cycles with holding things in, not talking about it, and then either being passive aggressive or just super aggressive, but nothing in between. And then he has no idea what's going on because he doesn't know what I'm freaking out about.
And what you done seen, what prompted you to start looking through his phone?
I would always get like a feeling, or he would touch me different, right? So after most rape victims are very sensitive to touch. And so any sign of him touching me, any type of any different, I'm like, there has to be somebody else. There has to be,
You're
right?
talking about with a change of a touch.
With a change of a touch. There has to be, right? And so
she's psycho.
I would go snooping around because I'm a snooper.
I'm sorry.
And when you seek, you shall find. That is a biblical verse. So if you don't believe in the word of God, listen, let me tell you, when you seek, you will find. And when you find, you have to know what to do.
And what's so bad about it, people will find something, but then they won't do nothing about it.
Exactly.
Because they weren't prepared to leave.
And that was me.
You was like, I'm going to find it, I'm going to bust them. And then like, what you going to do? You're not going to even tell them that you busted them.
I did absolutely nothing. Sit there, cry. Okay, this is how, I'm going to get a little bit serious, right? Okay. I would seek and I would sit in closets and cry, and I would be in there wanting him to find me in the closet crying. And when he would come and find me in the closet crying, then I would say, I'm just crying because I miss my dad. I would blame it on something else. And they would always mostly be about my dad. Like, oh, I'm crying. But it's really because I just sat here and watched you have sex with, or right? So.
No, the name, there ain't no real people name. I don't want you throwing people's name out here.
Okay. So. We're just gonna keep on going.
We're gonna make fake names up. Okay.
We're making all kinds of fake names up.
Okay.
Right now. All fake. All fake names.
Fake names.
Okay. So
So you watch him have sex with Sue?
yeah, and Sue and,
Yeah.
and Jane and Jade and Sheila. That's a fake name, right? I don't know.
That's a fake name. That's a fake name. That's not a real person.
I just wish he stopped laughing. I feel like it's like a nervous laugh. I feel like it's a cringy laugh, almost like I can't believe she is really saying this stuff. Like, I feel like it's like secondhand embarrassment. I feel like maybe he's trying to make her feel more comfortable. She's being jokey about it, but then oh my God. The interviewing style is blowing my life right now. But anyway, in that whole takeaway, she's watching him. First of all, why are you taping your sexual encounters and keeping them in a phone when you're in a relationship? I just, oh God, I just don't understand, Jesus. I don't understand. I think, and then the reason why I call her a masochist is because I'm sitting up here like you're in this cycle. She said she was in a cycle of trauma, a cycle of toxicity, and she's still sitting up there and she's not confronting him. So she'll go cry in the closet, want him to come find her, but she crying about her father. What? Girl, what? I was just like, oof, child. And then she talking about she's a snooper. You seek and you will find. Yes, you will. But you have to know what you going to do. If you know you ain't going nowhere, you know you're not confronting him, what the hell are you looking for so you can hurt your own feelings? Addicted to pain and suffering. Not thinking that you're worth more than that. That you... Oh, God, girl. Ooh. I'm telling you, these men be doing a number on you. And most of the time, women are more than willing to stand in line for the treatment, the mistreatment rather. It's so sad. That's why they want you young and dumb, because you'll take that until you won't take it no more. You know what I'm saying? And some women, they endure it. Riding and dying. Shout out to Erica De Niro.
We were in technically a committed relationship when we were in Raleigh, North Carolina, living together.
When y'all was making a plan to move together.
Right, when we were making a plan to move together, we were moving together like as a unit.
As a couple.
But we ended up falling out before then. And so while the plans were still on to move, I had already transferred jobs. You know, he already had whatever he had going on. And so made the move. My mom came down and she helped me drive down to Atlanta. I had my own little space. Anyway, we were still engaging sexually, even though we were off, right? And so it was in this time where there was a lineup of us. We was passing each other on the stairway, in and out.
No, y'all wasn't. No, y'all was not passing
you think this is a game?
You were not passing each other on the stairway. No, y'all.
We were passing each other on the stairway. Like, this is my shift from this time to this time.
Oh,
so
somebody's crazy.
I was a willing participant in that, and this is I can laugh about it now, but it's really sad, to like what space you have to be in to accept that, and so. I dealt with it already, so I can laugh about it now. And it's funny, but it's like, right?
Look back at your old self and
I'm just like, what? But yeah, no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, hour and a half later. Yeah. And sometimes we went a little bit longer, so literally passing each other on the stairs, like out the door. All right, have fun, and literally. And so there was a lot of people involved at that time. And again, we weren't in a relationship, so all the people that like committed relationships. So I was just on the rotation at the time, and I ended up getting pregnant with our first child. And it was in that I was like, okay, Naia, you got to figure out what you're doing with your life. You are whole pregnant, and you can't get rid of this child because I had already had 3 abortions before. The Lord had already dealt with me, and I was like, Lord, if you save me from this, I'm not going to ever do this again. Got pregnant. I was like, I can't go back. Oh Lord, I don't want you to kill me. Yeah. But so I started. Okay, I got to figure out what I'm doing with my life, and then I started getting a little bit more serious. Like, what are we doing? He was still doing, stuff with other girls. I knew about it, so I did still participate in some sexual activity and all that, knowing that he was with other girls. I was a willing participant, but
probably with no condom, especially if she's sitting up there getting pregnant. She had 3 abortions, and she was pregnant again with the rotation of women. You don't even love your own body. You don't even cherish your own body. You have no regard. Oh my God. This is so sad. So sad.
but it did start to take a toll on me mentally and emotionally
Of course.
because I'm pregnant,
Yeah.
right? So there was a lot of women involved in that time. And it was in that time that I had a conversation with his mom. And I was like, listen, I don't have another 7 years to give him. I'm trying to figure this out. And like, I want to be with him. I want to do this, but I don't have another 7 years to give him. So he has to figure out what he wants to do. And then shortly after that, I'm getting a call from my mom, and she's like, I just got a call from Derek asking me for your hand in marriage. I thought you were not in a relationship. I was like, we're not. We're doing this co-parenting thing, And she was like, okay, so what are you going to do? And so I actually knew about the engagement, which she didn't know about, but I actually knew about the engagement and all that because my mom told me about it. She was asking me these questions because she was like, I thought you weren't in a relationship. And I'm like, we're not. And so I had to figure out, okay, he's being serious. He called my mom.
Did that make you excited? How'd
It
you feel?
did. I was so excited because I'm like, he called my mom. My mom and him, like, they don't
They don't mess with each other.
know. And so he humbled himself. He called my mom and asked for my hand. I mean, she's serious about me.
Oh, she probably felt like she won, huh? Ooh, child.
It's meant to be. Absolutely. So excited. And so, yes, I was so excited about
meant
it.
to be.
Yes, he called my mom. He don't even know what that means, right? He called my mom. They don't even get along, first off, like that. So that meant a lot.
Why didn't they get along?
I left my phone in his car when I first met him, and he called her, and that conversation didn't go well. So ever since then, it's just been like a battle between them, and I've kind of been in the middle of it, and it created a lot of anxiety in the relationship. So I actually isolated from my family a little bit, and just kind of was doing my thing, being grown and being involved with his family mostly.
Yep, that's what they do. That is what they do. That is what they do. Isolate you so that you will sit there and get that toxic D, being mind controlled and everything, brainwashed, everything. They are slowly just draining the person that had some type of sense, and you don't have any kind of support system to tell you what's right and what's wrong. And it doesn't even matter, because at this point, when y'all think y'all grown at 18, y'all think y'all gonna do whatever y'all want to do. This is the stuff that you subject yourself to. And so it's classic narcissist behavior. They isolate you from your family. They flip the script on you. They start to abuse you. They start to misuse you, mistreat you, treat you any old kind of way. Whatever way you decide to deal with it, that's what they'll do. And they'll continue to do it until you say stop.
My lease is up. I'm not about to renew it, so I'm either going back to Denver or I'm coming to stay with you. I want you to be here for the baby's birth, and it was right around the time that she was going to be born, so we need to figure this out. So I ended up moving in basically with him in the house that he was in. And we never really officially said, like, we're back together. It was just like implied, we're back together, So there's never a conversation like, yes, we're doing
We go
this.
together, circle, yes or no.
It was just like, we're together. And so that's how that happened. And then I got the call, and I was like, okay, we're together, and we're rolling with that. And it felt great. I was all on board with it. I was excited. He called my mom.
You called your mama.
What?
Humility.
Right. And so that's how that happened. And so all of our family came in, and we were celebrating this housewarming because we just moved into this new house. So the plot was, we're celebrating the housewarming, but everybody else knew, hey, engagement, but little I knew too. And so he had this song play, and it was like right before midnight, and it came on, and he gets down on one knee, and he's like proposing to me, and I'm like, oh my God.
It was all this pain I went through.
Yes,
it was
it's paying off.
Yeah, it's paying off. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
All the joy. All the joy.
Yeah.
The bragging that I did.
My man.
Mrs. Jaxn. Okay, Mrs. Jaxn. Okay, if you're nasty. That was my thought.
That's what I said.
Listen, I got saved. But
What I tell y'all? What I tell you? I'm a whole fiance. I'm a whole wife. Girl, if he ain't adding no value to your life. Now, Derek Jaxn, he don't do bad for himself. He don't do bad for himself. However, it comes with a whole lot of other abuse that comes with it on the other end. And it feels like the more that they do for you, like the financial part of it, the more abuse they feel like they are entitled to. So you have to be careful with that as well. But my man, honey, you gonna learn.
and that was a long year before marriage. There's a lot of stuff that went on in there. We tried some marital counseling. We did not finish that. there was,
You said premarital counseling?
Premarital counseling.
How y'all didn't finish our premarital counseling?
No.
Why not?
There was a lot of issues that arose. So as we were doing the counseling, I started to come out with a lot of the hurt that I was hiding from college days. I started to come out with that and how it made me feel. And it was a lot, I think, for him to handle all of that.
Like, oh my God, how do you know all this stuff?
Right. How do you know? Right. How did you know? But then also, like, why are you just now telling me
and
about
you still
this?
here?
Right.
Like, you know all that, you still.
Right. And so it was a lot for me to just like be like, and you did this and you did that. And I feel like I did do a lot of shame and blaming in communicating all the things I had been holding on to. So it was a lot for him to handle in that time. But anyway, it was all of that. He was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we never finished. And then, and then here we go in the marriage. So,
So you said he said I'm not gonna finish marriage counseling, but we're gonna continue going on with the wedding.
It was looking a little bleak at first, right? Because at that time went back to the gym and started working out, and then I had a male trainer. And so then at the time that we're going through premarital counseling, then it's like, oh, you're talking to your male trainer, and you're having a relationship with him. You're trying to hide it from me.
Projecting. How dare you? First of all, how dare you? When you've been cheating the whole time, and I go to the gym and have a personal trainer that works at the gym, and then you tell me that I'm having a relationship. Somebody's crazy. But I bet you, in a weird way, she liked that. Oh, he must love me. He jealous. He possessive. That equals love. And these crazy people, the crazy making the delusional minds of these women. It is oof, 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 oof.
And I'm like, I'm all these things. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to hide this from you. Like you see him, we go to the same gym, you can have a conversation with him. His wife is a trainer at the gym too. Maybe I should ask for his wife to, like, I didn't even choose the trainer, but basically it became an issue. And so then that became the focus as opposed to like me having a male trainer and what I'm doing over here.
Deflection. Period. That's all that was. Deflection.
Have those conversations with people in whom he had sexual relationships with?
No, so that wasn't discussed until after I left the marriage for 8 months. That wasn't discussed until after that. So, but going into marriage, no, there was not really a dialogue about like, hey, all these people that you've had a relationship with or whatever in the past, like all of them need to cut out. You ain't no friends. There was no dialogue about that. I didn't have any boundaries or barriers. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know what a boundary was. Exactly. Like, what is that? I didn't have any standard or like, I didn't even know that was a thing that you can actually request or not even request, that you implement,
Baby.
So, I had there was none of that. So
honey, that's it for part 1. She's pretty much saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. So no need to keep on listening to it. We got the gist of it. He pretty much cheated the whole time. It starts out with the woman with the fantasy fairy tale, the whirlwind, the love bombing comes in. They get you emotionally attached. They flip the script. They isolate you. Then they mistreat you. So that level of mistreatment usually goes on for about 7 years before you get finally fed up, because usually the 7-year itch is a very real thing. Usually by year 8 you are on your way to divorce court, okay? But if you do make it through, kudos to you, girl. God bless you. I hope that your man is doing you well. But as you can see, this is a mirror for a lot of Black marriages, the so-called Black love and all of that stuff. So I implore you, I really do implore you to get therapy if you're able to get therapy, because a lot of the ways that we were raised in a cycle where we didn't have our fathers. We're looking for male validation. We live in a patriarchy, and you do things that are male centered and they do not serve you, and that will lead you to high cortisol levels, high levels of stress and anxiety, some depression, weight gain, sleeping trouble, insomnia. Please just take care of yourself. Addiction problems, harmful ways to cope with the stressors of your life. So, my heart really does go out to Naia. She did take accountability. She still has not decentered him from her mindset, her mind. If he was to come back, I feel like she would take him back. And I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. Um, I wish her peace. I hope she get her children some therapy as well, because I'm sure being conceived through trauma, being living in a house with trauma, with a unstable mom and a neglectful father, a father that's never in the home, um it's not good. It's just not good. So make sure you all get the help that you need. And I implore you, don't just go to religion for your counsel. Remember, religion is made for men by men. Okay, so make sure you go to a therapist with some letters behind their name, some credentials, and learn to love yourself. Do things that serve you, and be willing to walk away when nothing at the table is serving you. It's not, it's nourishing you. If it's not, she didn't even talk about the STDs. I'm sure there was a plenty. I'm sure there was a plenty. So we're gonna do the part 2 tomorrow. Based on the response with this one was pretty easy because I'm not on camera or whatever. We were able to get through it. But just let me know. Chime down in the comments. I know everybody has been a fool at one point or another. But I implore you to listen to her story. Tell people, warn your ladies, warn your young ladies, even though they're not going to listen, they're going to have to find their own journey, come to their own awakening, however they will. But anyway, just try. Just try. Because a lot of stuff you can come back from, but a lot of things you can't. So just I implore you to try to have good relationships with your family, so you can try to keep them safe from harm. But of course they will, have their own path, and you have to let them live it. So anyway, all right, y'all, I will see you later. Make sure you chime in the chat down below. What are your thoughts on this crazy, crazy, crazy situation? And I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye.